Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. It's all about brown skin wellness. That's right. We're here today to talk about all the wellness programs, including meditation, yoga, and Pilates classes, and so much more that, of course, is available to you via online and Zoom, right? Or maybe the private sessions in Manhattan. I know you're based out of Brooklyn, right, Lisa?
Yes, I'm based out of Brooklyn.
Oh, and
Yes.
yeah, and who's Lisa? Lisa Deveaux, she's the owner of Brown Skin Wellness. Go to brownskinwellness.com. Please introduce yourself to everyone today before we get started.
Hi, I'm Lisa Deveaux. I'm a certified Pilates instructor. Um, I teach private sessions in Manhattan, and we do pop-up events from time to time where we collaborate across other modalities to support wellness, the wellness journey of others.
And let me ask you just a little bit about your background. How did you discover that this was the perfect fit for you, doing what you love?
Oh, I was a business analyst, project manager in financial services.
Mm-hmm.
And for a while, I was feeling unfulfilled with the work. So I still do it because it pays my bills right now. But
Yeah.
um, I went on a yoga retreat one year and then came back and decided I'm going to get my Pilates certification. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's really how I got started. I'd been doing it for years and practicing it on and off for years, but really did the deeper work after that yoga retreat.
Ah, and how did it make you feel?
Oh my gosh, amazing. I mean, when I was in my teacher training, I was going to the studio every single day and I physically felt stronger, mentally felt stronger, felt really good in my body, just had a lot of clarity mentally. And then the pandemic hit.
Oh, right? It happened to so many of us. And what
Yeah.
happened during that time for you?
During that time, I started teaching online and because I kind of got depressed. I couldn't go to the studio, right? And then a friend of mine said, "Hey, teach me Pilates." And then it kind of grew from there. And I still teach some of those women today online. They've stayed with me and they're in different parts of the country. So we try to, do that. And then I had a colleague reach out to me and asked me to put together a wellness program for them. And so we designed a program called Choosing Me, Choosing Us, where
Mm-hmm.
it combines yoga, Pilates, and meditation. And it focuses on the self. When was the last time I chose to do something for me?
Mm.
And take time for me and to pause and to breathe and reflect, right, on taking care of myself.
Oh,
And we found that to be a really powerful program that we did for the Haitian Americans United for Progress.
wow.
So we've done that a few times for a few clients, and it works really well. It's a great program.
Yay. And there's a lot of programs, a lot of different things you offer. And I know we talked a little bit about them last time, but let's go over some of the things that, do you want to break down some of those stereotypes again? Um, what did you want to
Sure.
share today? Go ahead.
Some of the stereotypes that come from just Pilates is like it's for women. It's only for
Mm-hmm.
women. It's only something that women do, which is totally untrue. Pilates, Joseph Pilates was a German that came to New York, I think in the 1920s, 1940s, and he basically created Pilates for men
Yeah.
and to
Wow.
rehabilitate men. And what happened was because he was located in Hell's Kitchen, he got really popular with the dancers that were in New York at that time. So they would go to him when they had injuries and he would help them get improved quality of movement, by working with him. And it kind of took off from there. There's a whole set of Pilates elders, and then there's all this stuff in the industry about classical versus contemporary Pilates and which is better. And a lot of the consensus that seems to come from that is work with the body that's in front of you. What does the body need? What does the mind need? What do the emotions need? What's coming up for them in that
Mm-hmm.
moment? How are they feeling mentally and emotionally and physically? And then work from there. Um, so Pilates has a very rich history. There's a book called Caged Lion that is all about Joseph Pilates in New York during that time and how the company Balance Body, which is one of the largest manufacturers of Pilates equipment, came to be, how the whole thing came out. And it reads like a soap opera. It's an interesting read on the history.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I want to hear more. You going to tell us, or is that secret? We have to figure that out by ourselves.
Well, I don't want to give away
I
everything
know,
that's in
I
the
know.
book,
I want
but
to.
it is an
Wait.
interesting read. You know, there
Yeah.
was some copyright issues and trademark
Wow.
issues, like small studios that were coming up were told they couldn't use the name Pilates
Ah.
in the 70s because someone else owned the rights to it. And you know, it kind of mushrooms from there.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah,
All right.
but good
Exciting
book.
stuff. Good,
Yeah,
good,
good
good.
book. Yeah, really good book.
All right. We got to look at it. We got to get a copy of it. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And what else would you say? I know you mentioned, women in your family kind of gave you a lot of this perspective that you have, right? Could you share a little bit about them and about their inspiration
Sure.
and insight to help you become who you are today? I know they were big mentors of yours
Yeah, I
and
mean
still are.
yeah, for sure. My grandmother was a really huge influence on me. She was the first woman to relax Black women's hair in the Bahamas.
Wow.
She made a ton of money doing it, and she started to buy real estate. And as she was coming up, she would pay for everything in cash. Her houses, her cars, when she traveled, she didn't use credit cards. And she was kind of like ahead of her time in terms of like establishing herself as an entrepreneur and
Okay.
being a woman in that time. You know, her
Yeah.
father kind of controlled her money because it was what, the 1940s, I guess.
Yep.
And her father controlled her money, so she got married to get from under him. And then they
Amazing.
moved, her and my grandfather moved to New York, and you know, she built her business from there. She did real estate and hair, and she was a teacher, so she had multiple things that she did that, you know, supported her family. I have quite a few strong women in my family, aunts and so on, that worked across all different industries, law and media and medicine, that really influenced me to go after what I wanted and
Mm-hmm.
to, you know, kind of follow my passion. Um,
Wow.
but sometimes it takes a while to figure that out. And I think for me, it took me a little bit to kind of figure out, well, what really am I passionate about? But teaching Pilates and helping people learn breathing techniques that are can kind of heal you emotionally and physically is a really powerful thing. And as I work with different clients and they give me feedback about what they're experiencing or feeling in their bodies, it's a really humbling experience to know that you are a part of a person's healing journey and healing experience.
Oh,
Um, and I think that's the rewarding part of it for me.
beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. And at brownskinwellness.com, that's brownskinwellness.com. Do you want to talk specifically about some of the things you're doing? And by the way, how we can connect with you via Zoom, right? We don't need to be in person, which is great. We
No,
can,
we
but you
don't
can be
need to be
anywhere.
in
That's
person. Yep,
awesome.
you can come through Zoom. Yep, on brownskinwellness.com. On the events page, there are links to our different offerings. Right now, I'm doing Pilates privates in Manhattan. So those are one-on-one sessions or duets. So if there's two people that want to do a session together, you can get a one-on-one session. with, two for one, I should say, two on one session actually. And then Zoom classes online for mat classes. In maybe about 6 to 8 weeks, we're working with one of the local churches in the Clinton Hill neighborhood in Brooklyn to use their space to offer in-person mat classes eventually. So more to come there shortly. That'll be updated on the site when that space becomes available. We also do pop-up events. So from time to time, we will collaborate with other vendors, other businesses,
Yep.
and host different pop-up events, self-care days and things like that, where we'll do a collaboration. So you might have, a meditation, a Pilates movement, and then you might have a facial or something like that to kind of coincide with the whole experience. So we do things like that as well, pop-up events.
Oh, well, this is awesome. And the workshops and stuff you have. And is there a certain schedule for these Zoom class, or can you sign in and actually partake in something that's already happened?
Right now we are trying to do those on Mondays and Wednesdays. We would like to do the Zooms Mondays and Wednesdays at 6:30. For the
Hmm.
private sessions, those would be Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6, 7, and 8 o'clock. Um, Time slots are available. And then if you want to do like a 30-minute quick intro just to get your feet wet, we do those early in the mornings, around 6 a.m.
All right. Well, amazing stuff you're doing. Excited you're here. And is there social media pages that you wanted to share, a phone number as well, besides the website?
Sure. So the phone number is 718-772-9101. The Instagram handle is at Brown Skin Wellness. The Facebook handle is at Brown Skin Wellness. And we also have a LinkedIn page at Brown Skin Wellness.
Got it. Now, a lot of people
Yeah.
come into the Pilates world, like you mentioned, they're like they've taken dance, right? They're in the dance world, but
Yeah.
you came from a
Hmm.
financial background as a business analyst
Yeah.
and project manager. That really makes you unique. Holy cow.
Absolutely. And I get told that a lot because even a lot of the instructors that I follow, they are dancers or they still dance or were former dancers. They dance professionally and so on. But coming from a place of sitting all day at a desk is a really unique place to come as an instructor. And I think it helps me to connect and identify with
Yep.
many of the women that are doing it today because it's become so popular with, these
Darn
big
right.
franchise corporate Pilates organizations that are on the scene that have really helped put Pilates on the map. But me actually, sitting all day having those unique issues of like, wrists or issues with my hips from sitting and really needing more mobility or flexibility in my hips, right? Like
Yep.
I have a client, he can't sit in the lotus position. He
Oh,
happens to be a bus driver,
oh
right?
wow.
And so he sits all day and he's, moving from the gas to the to the brake with that right leg, that right foot. And, so there are things that are happening in his body that he needs more flexibility. And you want your hips to be strong and you want them to be stable because it'll affect your back, it'll affect your knees, the whole chain, as they say,
Well,
right?
that's part of the benefits of Pilates, which I want you to elaborate more on. And I love the fact that you mentioned men. Men do this too.
Oh, absolutely. There was a great post somebody posted on uh Instagram with men doing Pilates because people say, "Oh, it's easy. It's just stretching." Well, it's more than just stretching. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
you can use Pilates to stretch, but it's more than just stretching. There is a form of strength training. There's a form
Ooh.
of toning. You're getting flexibility, you're getting mobility,
Mm-hmm.
you're keeping one area of the body stable while the other part is moving. And sometimes that's hard to coordinate.
Yep.
How do I twist through my torso without taking the hips with me all the way around, right? So it's things like that. But men do Pilates. Athletes, it's great for them. It actually improves their performance because they are actually connecting with muscles in their body that they might not
Wow.
normally use.
See, I love this. And what else are some benefits of doing Pilates, would you say, for our mind, body, and soul?
For mind, body, and soul, I think it really helps you mentally kind of bring it all down, right? With everything that's happening in the world today, with inflation and the political climate and da 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 da, right? All the things. You want to have your thing, that thing that kind of helps you alleviate the anxiety, minimizes the stress, helps you reconnect to the core of yourself, who you are, and to just be calm, right? And one of the main principles of Pilates is breathing and respiration. And that's a
I'm
common
working on that.
thread.
I do it wrong. I don't fill up the diaphragm. I feel like my anxiety closes off that breathing path. I know. I need help with the breathing.
Yeah, I mean, you want to inhale through the nose and then exhale through the mouth. And
And
sometimes, oh, yeah, go ahead.
no, no, I got to fill up the diaphragm the right way. I got to expand it when I pull in. I
Yes.
usually do it opposite. I find myself sucking in and breathing in, and that's just not right.
Yeah, you want to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth.
All
But
right.
it takes practice. I
All
mean, it
right.
takes practice. I mean, with anything, learning how to breathe takes practice. And there are different ways, there are lots of breathing techniques, right? And I think the way you breathe in yoga can be different from the way you breathe in Pilates because you're breathing and you're connecting it to your core. So you want to move with the core, you're giving the diaphragm some oxygen. Sometimes when you're like doing a side lying series, for example, you want to inhale into that right rib so that you can engage that left oblique, things like that.
Oh, my obliques. What else did you want to make sure we cover for today? I mean, we do a lot, and you clearly are passionate about the work you're doing. If you are just tuning in, we need to keep mentioning it. You got to keep promoting, of course, how we can reach you. And it's brownskinwellness.com. Lisa Deveaux joining us here. And can you give us a six pack?
718.
Go ahead. Go
Oh, can I
ahead. Go
give
ahead.
you a six pack? 718-772-9101 is to call. Brown Skin Wellness on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, or hello@brownskinwellness.com. You can always shoot me an email.
Beautiful. I
Yeah,
asked the six pack question. Is that a
the
myth?
six pack question. So, yes and no. You can get a six pack. However, don't expect it out the gate. It really requires you to be consistent, right? You might lose that belly, you're definitely gonna use those lower abs in Pilates, but you got to be consistent and you're not gonna get it if you're
Yep.
not consistent, right? Don't think you're gonna do it 3 or 4 times and be like, yeah, I got this six pack and this is working for me, but you will feel a difference in your body. It'll improve your posture. It'll help you with balance, especially for women. And one of these episodes, I would love to specifically talk about why women love Pilates so much, why it's taken on, especially with this new hot topic that's out there on menopause, right? And
Mm.
and it really, you want to start thinking about that early on, maybe
I'm
even in your
46.
20s
I'm
and get
thinking now. I'm thinking now, girl. Uh-huh, uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll get to that and that when we talk
Okay.
about that on that
Good
episode. But I
topic.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
balance, bone density, all of the things. Yeah, that's gonna be a really, a good one. A good one. Yeah. Because you wanna keep that balance, you want to keep that bone density up. You you got to be consistent. You got to move. You got to
Trying.
breathe. You got to
Got
give it
it.
oxygen. Yep.
Got it. All
Give it
right. Well,
oxygen.
oh my goodness. We still have what, 5 minutes left in the show. Thank
We
goodness.
got 5 minutes left. Oh my goodness.
What else
Yes.
did you want to share?
What else did I want to share? Let me see. Some of the obstacles I think that I had to overcome in
Yeah.
my experience, I think for myself is that whole thing around self-doubt.
Yeah, we all have
Um,
that.
yeah, like doubting myself and really talking to myself and saying, no, you got this. And I think, and coming back to the mentor question, I think my grandmother used to tell my father, you can be and do anything you want. And so my father used to tell me that he say, before I die, can you just create this nickel machine so I can see you do it? Because I know you can. And sometimes I have to have those conversations with myself. You know what? You're intelligent, you're smart, you got this. And it's good for other people to tell me that, right? But I have to believe it for myself.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I do for myself
I
on
was
a
going to
regular
ask, yeah, how can
basis,
we improve our self-worth in a sense, right? How do we do it? What are some advice tips you can give someone out there who's experiencing self-doubt?
some of the things that I do for myself personally is I journal. I journal first thing in the morning. Rather than pick up my cell phone, I pick up a journal and I just
Ah,
trying to get those thoughts out of my head, whatever it is that I'm thinking. Brain dump, that book by Julia Cameron called The Writer's Way, where
yep.
she talks about, morning pages. I have those. I have years worth of journals where I write every morning, whatever's in my head, and it's usually just a rant, random thoughts, whatever. Things I want to do, things I want to accomplish. What am I dreaming about? I put it on paper, and it's in my
Beautiful.
journal, and it helps me process for myself. And then additionally, then I start moving. I get up. I might get on the treadmill. I might do some mat Pilates. I got a Pilates chair in my apartment. I might get on my chair and start moving. So it's important for me to stay consistent or pull up a video and do some yoga, right? So there's lots of things available to us
Hmm.
to take care of ourselves and to support our mind, body, and spirit connection and to alleviate the stress and the anxiety and all the things that may hold us back.
Beautiful. And it's not being selfish. We got to
No,
remember that.
it's not being selfish. It's about being selfless,
I love
right?
it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And
Because what do they say? You got to put your oxygen mask on first before you can save somebody else. You
I
can't save
love
your
that
kids. You
saying.
can't
It's
save
so
your
true.
parents.
Hmm.
Can't save anybody else until you save yourself. If you're not healthy, nobody else wins.
Beautiful. And that's what you're helping people build, men and women, one step at a time with this. I love it. I love it. Your quote, breath, you can breathe through anything in this life, you say, right?
I say that all the
Hmm.
time, because when you're doing Pilates, a lot of times clients forget to breathe. And I say, breathe, because you can breathe through this and you can breathe through anything in this life. Anything.
Oh, well, thank you so much. If someone does want to reach out, by the way, your signature course is what specifically?
Choosing Me, Choosing Us, which is our yoga, Pilates, and meditation workshop that we do. It's a 60-minute workshop with 20 minutes of each. You can sign up for that, reach out to us. We will come to your organization and
Wow,
deliver that program in
that's so
person if
cool.
you want. We can also facilitate it for a group online through Zoom. We will also host it if you want to just do it as a bridal shower or a birthday party for a group of you and your friends or your family. It's a very unique way to celebrate
That's a great
life.
idea. I love
Hmm.
that. I love
Yeah.
it. And anything planned for the rest of your day today?
The rest of my day today, I actually need to go do a photo shoot. I
Oh,
taught two
exciting.
classes. I taught two classes this morning. Gotta
Wow.
go take some photos later. Yeah.
For what, if you don't
So,
mind me asking?
Pilates, with some
Beautiful.
other instructors. Yeah.
I know you collaborate with a lot of other people in this business
Yeah.
as well. Well, thank you so much. Good luck to you. Can't wait
Thank
to
you
see the
so
photos.
much.
Maybe we can pull them up next time on the show from the photo shoot.
Okay.
Brownskinwellness.com. Lisa, how else can we contact you?
Lisa at brownskinwellness.com. Hello at brownskinwellness.com. Brownskin Wellness, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, phone number 718-772-9101.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here. Love to hear you talk about all of us, getting out of that rut and helping ourselves and get started with something like this. It makes you feel so good. And I remember the days I used to feel good. And with the two kids, I haven't done anything, but I want to go back to Pilates. We'll talk. All right. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Lisa. You
All
have a
right.
great day.
You too.
Bye
Thanks.
bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.